So here you're gonna discuss what we call GraphQL and our React app called event booking. Do you have any questions, Ronnie, about GraphQL?
No, 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 no.
Okay. So according to my understanding, what me and Ronnie came up to is that GraphQL is when you ask for exactly what you need, and GraphQL lets clients request specific fields and
Yes.
reducing and overfetching, underfetching. So GraphQL, you can get only the specific data that you ask for. For example, if I ask let's do a real example. Let's say Ronnie wants a Coke, specifically Coke. I will return a Coke other than REST API instead of giving me just a Coke. REST API gives me what is this? Fries. So yeah, that's my understanding to GraphQL. So
Yeah.
to the commands, what did we do, Ronnie, with our front end and back end?
So firstly, on the front end, when you run front end, you have to take that thing of
We have to take the env command.
let me just env command. Then after that, you have to run the
In
env
our
node option.
PowerShell.
Then after that, you can run npm start. Then automatically gonna do what? Gonna go through the front end and run our application. Then you're gonna respond with the compile successfully and put the local load what was 3000. So it show you the front end is ready to be visited and so on. Yeah.
Yeah. Just to
So
add on. Okay.
and also the graph QL is like an a trans transportation system. Like it transport the data. For example, when you make a get or a post,
Mm,
so GraphQL, what it does, it use the tool which is a resolver
mm,
to do what? To fetch the data according to the way you want.
yeah.
Because when you send request, you are using the query,
Mm,
then that query is gonna go through the GraphQL, then GraphQL gonna be okay, cool. I'm gonna use my tool which is the resolver, then the resolver gonna say okay, then respond to that query with the data, then that's it. Wanna
mm,
go through that line, then
mm,
display the data
mm.
with the JSON data. Yes. Then that's it. This is how I understand the communication between that line with the GraphQL
Mm,
fetching data. It, it can be on the database or whatever. Yeah.
mm. So me and Ronnie used what we call mutation. The reason why we used mutation is that it can just write or update our data, and we can create our data. So as you can see, we created a user and a password for our authentication page in our front end event booking. So what we did is we put in our ID and our email, and we ran it, and it shows the result here. It is
Yeah.
showing me this result user already exists because I have already clicked the play button long ago, so it will show me errors because this thing already exists. But if I can go in my front end and log out and
Okay.
put in my email and password from my GraphQL that I got from my GraphQL, I can actually log in and see my events and bookings. Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
understanding.
Then and if you want to like review the event, all of them, you have to log with the different users,
Mm.
then so that you can put in and yeah, that's it. And
Mm. So according to what Ronnie says, when I view details, why is it jamming now? Ish. Yeah, when I view, I can book an event. So I book this event, and I can view my details also and book it. And then I go to bookings. I can see multiple of my events and bookings here. Some of
yeah.
these events are not my events. They are others people events, and that is coming from my VS Code in our authentication. Where's that authentication pages? Am
In
I right?
in the pages. Yeah, in
Oh,
the pages. Go through pages, authentication. Yeah, that's
okay.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
we use the wait. Where's the thing? Hmm. Yeah, we use these buttons, sign up and log in. And if we sign up, we create another user's ID and password and email. And if we log in, it's already an existing user that will take us to our events. Yeah, you
yeah.
have
Also
something to
on
say.
the yeah, like and also the main important if you go through the your app.js, you'll see a line number all the way to 22. This is the like I can say is the format of GraphQL that
Mm,
use API
mm,
to work well with the front end. As you can see here, we have the response set header,
mm,
which is access the control origin. This one just allow the request, all the requests,
mm,
and this one do what access control allow the method of post and get or will. Then
mm,
this one is for what allow the header with content type. Then here we have the if the request method is equals to option, which is this method, then response gonna be what 200. 200 is what? It's just allowing or everything's going well. Then you can make the request to the GraphQL. The GraphQL gonna respond with the with the data using the resolver and so on and so on. Then
mm.
also here, as you can see here, we have the graph endpoint, which is
Mm.
what the schema, as you can see, a schema, graph schema, which is came from where
It
is it?
describes the types and relationships. Yeah.
Yeah, graph. What is that? Which is this schema,
Mm,
which is this schema. As you can see here with the bookings, this is
mm,
the method of bookings. We need an ID and user and create a string and update. As you can see, which is this line 33. Then here we have the what root value, which is graph resolver,
mm,
which is created from here. As you can see, this one is just an gonna respond with whatever you want. Maybe you want the event, then this is where this what the export gonna export this create an event and whatever through all the way there and yeah and also the plugins.
mm.
Then that's it.
And another thing I want to add is our installations that we had to do. We had to install our latest Mongoose so that we can connect to Mongo. We had to create a env file and have this URL inside. We had to have our user and our password and our MongoDB so that when the user and details inside our front-end React app, it connects to our Mongo database and we can see what we're actually dealing with. So we're gonna start the MongoDB and we're gonna connect to the local host and see if the database is pulling through. Let's just wait 5 minutes. Yeah. So now we're gonna connect to our cluster.
Yes.
And as you can see, me and Ronnie, we have our database in our MongoDB. Instead of using
Yeah.
our Mongo Atlas, we chose to use our MongoDB Compass for
Yeah.
clear identification. So if
Go
you
to
can look at my
this.
bookings, we have
Yeah.
this. And then
Yeah.
if we have our
Events.
events, we have this.
Users. Go through users. Let's see.
Users, we
Okay,
have
two
this.
users. Okay. Yeah, that means already connected. It works well, as you can see. Yeah, that's it. So I don't know what we have to add
Uh,
because we did.
Another thing for our front end, we forgot that in our VS Code, the person who created this source code, they didn't actually have a back end. So we actually had to think in a way that we had to open our first folder, YT GraphQL React event, and run our app node app.js. And after that, we had to install npmi, which brings in our node module so that we can start our app.js. Another thing for our front end, we couldn't run our front end in the VS Code, instead in our PowerShell, and then locate to our specific front end and then run
Okay.
this command node options open SSL legacy provider. This command
Yeah.
comes from the owner who created this source code, which is the event booking app. So, and then we start our npm as Ronnie said, and then we get our different links, our on network links and our local network, and then we can see our front end. So this is the main purpose of our front end, which we explained. If we log out, we have our authentication. We put in our different email and password we can choose, and then we log in. Let's log in. Why doesn't it let me through? Is it Jamie?
I think maybe it's network.
Yeah, network. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we explained this whole thing. So yeah, that was the main purpose, guys. We need our GraphQL communicating with our React app. If we didn't have our backend GraphQL server not working, me and Ronnie saw
Yeah.
that um, we couldn't actually do nothing. And what we learned, me and Ronnie, is that on our front end, we are sending HTTP request and post request, and in our back
Yeah.
end, we are receiving our HTTP request on our server. So yeah, and
Yeah.
post request.
Yeah. This is how I was explaining. Or GraphQL is like a transportation. Like it stays between the what the browser and the I can say the database. So when the client uh, use the request, then you do what, check the request and say, okay, you want this to post. What I'm gonna do what, gonna transfer to the what database. Then when you go to database, gonna see, okay, I made this is the event, and it's like a transportation. You transport the data to the client to the database, and yeah,
Mm,
it's like in, I can say it's like in a middleware.
yeah.
The same is something like that. Yeah. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. And in our VS Code, this is how the modules connect to each other. As usual, we have our components inside of our CRC and our pages folder. And then we are importing all of this in our app.js. We are importing our auth page, our bookings page, our events page, our
Yeah.
main
And
navigation page, and all of that.
and bro, you can show them the module of the bookings,
Okay.
which is in the front end. Yeah, I think it's the in front end
Yeah.
on the in the front end. You can just show them CRC components.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're creating a class here, which is bookings page, and it extends the components. And then if the bookings is false, it shows the list. If it's true, it shows the list.
Okay.
And we have static context type, all of that. And then it fetches the bookings, and then it comes up with a query, which is the bookings ID, which matches with the
Yeah.
user's ID. And then
Yeah.
yeah, it shows the title, the page, and the price. Yeah,
Then that's it.
yeah, then that's it.
So
Yeah,
we can end videos, bro.
yeah.